Nyquist allows you to do a very high quality sample rate conversion. This is something you might use to change the pitch or the speed, but of course they change together when you change the sample rate. There's a lot of sample rate conversion going on in Nyquist behind the scenes. It implicitly changes the sample rate of control functions like envelopes and LFO from their default sample rate, which is 1/20th of the audio sample rate. That makes the computation of control signals much more efficient. And what happens when you multiply an envelope by an audio rate signal is Nyquist linearly interpolates the control function. And this is okay in most cases, for control functions, because if they're changing slowly, then doing low quality fast interpolation or sample rate conversion using linear interpolation, which is what is done, it makes sense and it works okay. But if you want to actually change the sample rate of audio, so for example, you read in a file that's a 48 kilohertz sample rate file and you want to change the audio to 44.1 kilohertz or vice versa, then you really want to do that with high quality sample rate conversion as opposed to simple linear interpolation. The algorithm implemented in Nyquist is a digital low pass followed by a digital reconstruction using sync interpolation, which we've talked about before. And there are two useful functions. One of them is the resample function, where you give it a sound and a rate, and that does a fixed rate conversion. The other thing that you can do is call sound warp, with a warp function and a signal and a warp rate. And that allows you to use a variable speed mapping to convert audio into audio, but with continuously variable stretching or speeding up and slowing down. The reason for this third parameter, the warp rate parameter, is that in order to accomplish this sound warp mapping, Nyquist has to compute the inverse of the warping function. And it turns out that because of some numerical details having to do with precision of samples, you really want to do this at as low a sample rate as possible. The details are in the reference manual. The main thing I'd like you to know is that you can do high quality resampling for audio if you explicitly call the resample function. And if you want to play around with warping, continuously stretching, or speeding up, slowing down audio, then look into the sound warp function.